Hey Trevor, what do you think?
Just working out here having a damn good time, making some power. Haven't driven it yet, I don't know, it looks damn good.
Well, I hope you haven't drove it without a cage.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun, just turn it up.
Well, we turned it up all right. Let's see if I can pull this up for you guys here. There you go. The car came in, made 158 peak, bone stock. Only difference is he had already pulled the cat out of the muffler. This is what we made on pump gas. Made a little less on pump gas originally. Fuel quality here sucks, so we splashed like a little bit of race gas in it to make it happy. And then this is on the 98 plus WS200 file. Probably a little bit left in it with some fine tuning and the clutching you can see there, but he's only going to use this when he's feeling spicy, so we just wanted to see what it would make for the video. But yeah, some pretty healthy gains there. So this thing's going to be a monster. It's base model pro, no goodies in it, super light. He's got a bunch of stuff coming for it. Shout out to John Whalen for getting this thing tuned for us today. Thanks Dylan for hooking us up. The boys over at RPM hooked us up with all the high flow breather treatment stuff. So we got a charge tube, intake tube from the box to the turbo, their blow off valve, and then we also have their silicone air box inlet as well. And then we have our bulletproof clutch kit in it, so weights, primary, secondary spring, and a billet clutch hat to hopefully keep this P90X alive for a little bit. But I also know how this dude drives. So
Have some fun.
we'll see about that. I have no doubt he's gonna have some fun in it. This car's gonna be 190 something horsepower on those dynos, no slouch for sure. So this car should run pretty hard. You guys want pro content, there you go. We did this just for that. He's also got an RPM head pipe cutout thing to put on still, but we ran out of time on that. Like I said, this is all through the stock muffler with the cat removed. That's it. Baffles in it, everything. So pretty good power. I know he's got a MBRP muffler coming for it, and like I said, he's got that head pipe to put on still, so maybe a little bit of power to be had there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and as always, you gotta remember, turn it up. Oh yeah. What's going on, everybody? So today we have the shop car on the dyno, and for two reasons. We had a wastegate failure happen. I slapped a wastegate onto the car, put it on the trailer, went out for sand outlaws, and didn't get to really check and make sure we were at the boost levels we needed to be. So when Shane and I went to the hill, Shane and I both drove the car there. It ran really good, but we were down a few pounds of boost from what we could tell on the boost gauge going up the hill. So looks like I need to make a wastegate adjustment. So I'm gonna put on the dyno, see where we're at for boost right now, and make the change. Now, the second reason why it's going on there is we're gonna do some back-to-back comparisons with exhaust. So Joe over at Treal Performance asked me if I have tested back-to-back just exhaust and a stock exhaust. I have not. So we're gonna do that today. So we figured since our shop car makes about 100 more than a stock car on this dyno, probably the best car to do this test with, as if a stock exhaust is gonna be restrictive enough to cause a horsepower drop that's gonna show on something at this power level. So let's get to it. So as you know, we have the Treal exhaust in our shop car, and we have a stock one here, unmodified. Spark arrestor's missing. I'm gonna try to slap one in here real quick. Unmodified, has a cat in it and everything as well. Very low mileage unit. So we're gonna get the wastegate issue dialed in, resolved right now. And then we'll also have some bass lines with the Treal exhaust, and then we're gonna swap on that and see if there's any power difference. So as always, I'll be transparent, and what I see is what you guys are gonna see. Okay, we've done some preliminary runs with the Treal exhaust on, and we have now switched over to the stock exhaust. I showed you guys the Treal's over there. I'm gonna get this back going, and we'll do a layover here soon. Okay, so with the Treal muffler on, did 3 runs. They all average right here, right around 226. That's what we're making today. Different day. Anyways, numbers are numbers. With the stock exhaust, it actually made about 5 or 6 horsepower less the initial first run, but immediately following another back-to-back pull, just like I did with the Treal muffler on. And you can see it going into component protection here. This is on the 3rd pull. This is the 2nd pull with the stock muffler, and it immediately goes into component protection, and it just starts yanking power out of this thing. So we got some pretty good gains. I mean, peak numbers are 10, which is pretty good for just a muffler swap. But up here, we're about 15 horsepower difference up top. Even in the mid-range here, we are, where are we at? 10, 11, pretty consistently 10, 11 horsepower difference here. There's 5 there, but yeah, interesting test here. So that's gonna wrap up the testing for the exhaust. Again, this is Treal's sport muffler versus a stock with the cat in it. It does have the spark thruster out of it, but I doubt that's gonna make any difference. The interesting part about this test is how quickly the heat accumulated right after 1 pull. Now I got a ton of load in the dyno, about 30-35% static load in the dyno to simulate being in the sand, heavy 4-seat car or shooting the hill. And so it's about as close to real world testing as we can get. So what I saw is immediately following the next pull with the stock muffler, it just started yanking power out, component protection starts going super rich. So very, very interesting to see that. We're gonna get the Treal muffler back on, and we're gonna finish up the rest of our testing that we're doing today. So next, belt comparison. All right, so we just did some baseline runs with the way the car was. Boost isn't too far off actually, so I'm gonna leave it there right now. I'm gonna do a belt comparison. John Whalen and Doug have seen some pretty good improvements going to the Ultimate USP belts. So we have one to try. I just did a baseline run with the Trinity's World's Best belt that we've been running for a while now. So I just threw on an Ultimax, and we're gonna make some pulls again right now and see if there's any difference between the two.